All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our first episode of Our Golden 20s. I'm Sadie.
And I'm Teagan.
And we're so excited that you guys are joining us. Like I said, first episode, so we're feeling a little nervous, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I think we're like hyping it up a little in our heads, you know? But
we're trying not to embarrass ourselves, basically.
exactly. And like there's one thing that I can do really well, and that's talk. So I think I'm just like overthinking this whole thing. Well, we thought first episode, it would probably be great just to kind of tell you guys about who we are and our intentions kind of for this podcast. So like we said, I'm Sadie, and Tegan has been my best friend forever. We met first day of kindergarten.
Yep, I maybe remember it, or maybe just remembering kindergarten as an entire experience, but you might have wore overalls, or it could have been a dress.
Oh my gosh, probably.
But
I probably was wearing overalls.
Yeah, I definitely at least remember you. And now here we are, 20 years later.
Yeah, I feel like it was like a cubbyhole experience where I was just like, I have this weird thing about me. This is like already embarrassing, but where I like see people and I'm like, I want that person to be my friend. Like, I feel like any friends listening to this are like, wow, yeah, Sadie poached me that way too. And I kind of have this like memory seeing Tegan at like the cubbyholes first day of kindergarten being like, all right, she's going to be my friend. And that was that. So
Here we are. Making podcasts.
And making podcasts. Oh my goodness. So fun. The best part, I think it was like last year, 2 years ago, Tegan, you came up with like the little catchphrase, like partners in crime since 99. And I was like, oh my God, like that is so cute. That is us.
Yeah.
Like, I don't recommend best friend tattoos, but if you ever want to get one, that's what ours should say.
Sure. It'd be a little long, but maybe.
Yeah, you know, nice like scripty font.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Sure. I could do the calligraphy.
You're into calligraphy.
Yeah, then it could be my writing on myself.
Oh my God.
Which would be great.
So funny. I guess, should we just like jump in and like tell everybody about like each of us individually now that they know our whole childhood backstory?
Yeah, it's like when you read a fantasy book and the first like 5 chapters is just setting up the lore. And you're like, I am not invested in this at all. Why are you telling me this? That's what we're doing. We're setting up the lore of our podcast. This is key information you need to know to understand why we're the way that we are. Yeah.
Yeah. And like in a few weeks when we post our best friends tattoo, like,
yeah.
Just kidding. You guys will be the first to know about
exactly.
it.
I feel like this might just be the start of us going off the deep end. Like, at least this seems like a productive thing to do, but it's just going to get worse and worse and worse.
Oh my gosh, so funny. Do you want to like tell us about you, Tag?
Sure, I would love to. So, yeah, I don't know. My name's Teagan. Sadie and I are both from a small town called Ingersoll.
Yeah.
Represent. But then we both left. And
bye.
Yeah.
And, sorry, I'm like your hype man in the
thank
back.
You.
To like your life story, I'm like, bye.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I left. I went to school. I decided to study film just because I liked watching movies. And now that is my job. I'm an editor, although I work mostly in advertising. But my thing, I don't know, my like specialty is I tell real stories. So that's what I do. I live in Toronto with my husband, and I work. Especially now.
I live in Toronto with my husband, and I work.
Like, I can't do anything else, so I sit here and I work. And then I sit on the couch, and that's it.
Very true. Yeah. I feel like something that's interesting about both of us, I think, and it was kind of funny because Tegan and I were, like, talking about this podcast, and we're like, yeah, like, we want to do this. And then we're like, but like, what qualifies us to tell people how to live their best life? And when you were saying, so this has been something I've been thinking about, but when you were saying like, yeah, I went to school because I like to watch movies, so I went to film school, and now that's what I do all day, every day. Like, I work in basically like what you went to school for. And I feel like already I'm like getting probably like very deep and personal. But like, I think that's something that kind of is interesting about both of us is like, we're both, first of all, we're both 25 years old. Tag, I don't know if like our age is supposed to be a secret or whatever.
No,
but
that would be weird.
Like,
but...
right? Okay. I was like, I don't know. We're both 25. And we're both like working in the fields that we want to be working in. Mm-hmm. And like, kind of like that alone is like kind of cool. And like, not everybody does that. And I think that's just like, I don't know, because we're like goal getters and like, you know, like have a vision for ourselves and like put in the work to actually like get to where we want to go. So that right there is what qualifies us.
Heck yes.
To tell people how to live their best life through this podcast.
Exactly.
Right. And the other interesting thing, like you kind of mentioned this, but Teagan is married, and she got married last year, 2020, in the middle of a global pandemic. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure we're going to have lots to talk about that. But I'm like, when people are like, so like your friend Teagan, I'm like, yeah, she got married in a pandemic. Like, I feel like like it's just like something really interesting and like unique about you.
And
like
it shows how crazy I am. Like everyone else was like, oh yeah, we postponed our wedding. And I was like, huh? What? You didn't just power through ahead and change your plan every 3 seconds for no reason?
Actually, like crazy, but like it shows a lot of other really great personality traits. Like you're very dedicated, you know, yeah. Determined. These are like positive spins. Very resilient. Like guys, I'm not kidding. She had to like plan this wedding like 4 times because every time we had a plan, it would just be like the government would be like, all right, just kidding. We're going to cut down group sizes now. Or like, we're going to do this now. So then she would have to literally change the whole plan of her wedding just to like adhere to these new rules. Mm-hmm. So lots of like strength. Yeah. Resilience. Yeah. Like,
I feel like
these are the words I would use to describe you.
Yeah. I feel like we're both the types of people, and my husband Tyrell is similar, where if we decide we're going to do something, it's like, okay, so don't like overthink it, just do it. Like I was talking to my mom about wedding planning, and she was like, I don't understand how people get like riled up about it, because it's just like you make your plan and then you do it. And I'm like, yeah, Mom, like it sounds that's oversimplified, but that is literally what you do your entire life. Whenever you do things, you just decide you're gonna do it and do it.
I was just gonna say, like, wedding planning 100%, and like wedding planning especially, like there's so many like decisions and like small details you have to like decide on, you know. Mm-hmm. But like that's literally number one like rule of thumb to living my best life is like, if I want something, I'm just gonna do it. And like yeah,
and I feel
hence why we're doing this podcast.
Exactly. I feel like wedding planning, along with a lot of other things, is that there are people in the world who are trying to like prey on you for being indecisive. So like if you're planning a wedding and you're like, I don't know what kind of venue I should have, and wedding venues hear you saying that, they will like go crazy trying to get you to basically spend $1 million at their place. And I feel like it's the same in life, where it's like you need to know what you want and you gotta go get it. Don't let anyone try and trick you.
Yeah, people are gonna prey on the weak, guys. So
this is severe.
Don't be weak. This is severe. All right. Well, we're probably gonna have lots of conversations about wedding planning and like, you know, that whole experience. I think could be like a whole podcast episode on its own. Mm-hmm. But shifting gears a little bit, selfishly, I'm just gonna shine the spotlight on myself now. Because I'm the opposite of Teagan. And why Teagan and I thought doing this podcast together would be so much fun is because I'm literally like the most single person ever. So Teagan and I are like different in a lot of ways. So we thought doing this podcast together would be like so fun because we could like each obviously bring a totally different perspective and like hopefully you, whatever like situation you're in as a listener, like you can relate to at least one of us, if not both of us. So that's kind of fun. But I don't know. I'm very much like Tegan in the sense though that I am very like focused on my work and like I've always been very like career focused and like ambitious. I don't work in film though. I work still in advertising though. In like digital media and marketing, specifically social media. So we do kind of have that in common, like the advertising world, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like it'll be, like I said, just like fun to like, these are just like chats we have like over dinner, you know, like just like chatting life out and stuff. And now it's like, yeah, let's just like put this out to the world and like hopefully people can relate and have just as much fun with us.
Yeah.
Chatting things out.
And like we were thinking that there are probably people, well, not probably, we know there are people, especially in the city, who live by themselves and are alone.
I'm one of those people.
Yeah. And they're, you know, they want human interaction and they want to have these conversations, but obviously cannot have them in person right now. So our thinking was we should just be having these conversations and then maybe someone would like glean information from them and find a connection here that can kind of help them through like the loneliness of going through a pandemic in a big city.
And like already for me, like I do live alone. So like just having, this is obviously like our first time like really sitting down and like recording and whatnot, but it was like something I was looking forward to for like the past few days, and now it's like something I'm gonna look forward to like every week. And it's funny, like right now we're in like complete lockdown in Toronto, so I'm not seeing anybody, but before like the really strict lockdown happened, I was seeing like a friend like once a week. And I told them, like, any friends I saw in, like, the last year, I'm like, every time I see a friend, I'm, like, super hyped to see them because I, like, don't have social interaction since I live alone. So that's going to be this podcast. Every time I see, like, all of you guys, like, Tegan, all you listeners, I'm going to be, like, super hyped because I'm looking forward to this and just, like, going to take soak up all this, like, social interaction, I guess.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what hopefully our listeners will do as well. Soak it up.
Hopefully. Yeah. Or they're just going to be like, why does Sadie have to talk so much? Talk so fast, so loud. Like, sorry guys, I'm just really excited to be here, okay?
I'm sure they'll love it.
So, we thought another fun thing to do for us to get to know you, other way around. For you to get to know us, we thought it'd be fun just to do like a little would you rather game. So, Tegan and I are going to answer these questions, but we're also posting this on our Instagram stories because we want to get to know you too. So, head over to our Instagram, and it's at Our Golden 20s. And you can answer these questions too, because like I said, we definitely want to get to know you guys. Tag, do you want to do this? Me and you? Ready to answer some
ready.
would you rather?
Is it like a debate or is it just like rapid fire?
I know myself and I'll probably turn it into a debate.
Okay. You'll be like, actually, that's wrong. I'll be like, okay.
Actually, yeah, you're wrong, but okay. Or what's more like me is I'll just like try to convince you like of the other side, or be like, okay, but have you really thought about this?
Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So we'll discuss.
I like to suck the fun out of things.
Yeah. Great.
I think some of them could be maybe rapid fire.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see.
Would you rather drink tea or coffee?
I'm gonna go with coffee, but I also really like tea. Like this one's a toss up for me for sure.
I drink coffee every day. I don't drink tea every day, so I feel like that answers it. But I do like tea. If it was like rating how tasty it is, it would probably be tied, but like I have coffee every day.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, Instagram or TikTok?
I might say TikTok. I used to be pro team Instagram, but I don't know. It's just, here's my problem. All social media, now that it's not like perfectly curated by like the Chinese government listening in, It's not as good anymore. Like, I go on Instagram and I'm like, ugh, what is all this stuff? Why would I want to see that? Where TikTok's like completely like 100% curated for me, which I guess is bad, but it feels so good.
Honestly, like I said, I work in social media, so I'm glad that you appreciate that. And you're like, yes, I will give you all my personal information as long as my feed when I log in is curated for me.
Exactly. It's funny. I saw Lindsay DeFranco, I think. It might have been on the Phil DeFranco's podcast. She was saying, like, there needs to be a dating app where you don't see, like, what the BS that they wrote about themselves. You just see like their TikTok for you page. You see like their Instagram discover page, because then it's like no BS, because the corporations know exactly who you are, and then it's like, okay, you can judge them based on that.
Yeah. Wow, that would be pretty intense.
Yeah
Yeah,
that'd be revealing.
Wow.
I don't know how many people would sign up for that.
Revealing. I know. Oh man, I think I'm team Instagram. Well, I'm definitely team Instagram. I honestly haven't jumped on the TikTok like wagon yet, but Teagan and I've obviously been like talking about it because she is like very much on TikTok and like into it. So she's been telling me forever to like get into it, and I'd really like it. So I'm gonna download it and give it a try, and I think I'm gonna probably come around and like them like equally, or I don't know. We'll see. But right now, team Instagram.
Bridgerton or Gossip Girl?
This one's the one where I'm like, Teagan already knows my answer and I already know hers. And this is the one that I feel I could get passionate about, but maybe not. Especially since this is like the first time some of you guys are meeting me. But I'm team Gossip Girl. I think Bridgerton is like very Gossip Girl vibes. Just like obviously set in the 1800s. But it's just not like enticing enough for me. Like, I'm really not understanding the hype around it, but I know I'm kind of like by myself here. And a lot of people like are obsessing over it, but honestly guys, I'm team Gossip Girl.
I am team Bridgerton. I'm currently reading the second book in the series. But like, I wouldn't defend it as like the greatest TV show ever made.
Yeah,
but I
just
like it
way better than Gossip Girl.
Yeah. We were talking about this earlier, and apparently the Bridgerton books came out before the Gossip Girl books. Because when I was I was looking it up, and I was like, oh my god, they copied Gossip Girl. And I was like, oh no, other way around.
Interesting. I think too, maybe we can like revisit this when the Gossip Girl reboot comes out later this year. Because then I feel like it's like apples to apples, you know? Like, both came out same year. We can talk about it, but that's where we stand right now, guys.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Gin or wine?
I am a big wine person recently, and I think it's just because it's easy, because you don't have to mix it and you just pour however much you want. So, wine.
Yeah, interesting. I was curious what you were going to say, because I was like, I could see you saying like either or. I'm going to say wine as well for the exact same reason. I think like gin is good. It's like better in the sense that you could do more with it, you know? Like I just got like a bartender kit thing, and then like a book of like all these different cocktails to make and stuff. So like I'm excited to like experiment more with gin and like any other liquor for that matter. But wine is so easy and so like cheap.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just so easy that's the definite winner here.
Yeah, I agree. Date night out or date night in?
Do you want to go first? I feel my answer is like complicated.
Oh, okay. I say date night out. Even if it's just like casual, like leaving from work and going to a place, I still think I would prefer that to a date night in.
Oh man, I miss that. I miss going out after work.
Yeah.
I am gonna also say, so my thing is like first date needs to be like a date night out. The first time meeting somebody, you definitely need to meet in a public place. And like I usually text Teagan when I'm going on a first date, being like, hey, this is where I am, you know, like in case you don't hear from me again. Like,
yeah.
You know, like I don't know, maybe I'm just like paranoid. So I'd say date night out for like while you're getting to know somebody. But I think I would go date night in if I was like maybe like if I was like in a serious relationship, just because I love cooking at home, and I think like cooking at home with somebody would be like really fun. I don't know. And I'm also just like goofy where I'm like, I would just be more myself at home than like out in public probably. So yeah, I don't know.
I've also, like the majority of my time dating Tyrell, we lived in a tiny, tiny condo. So date night in was not ideal. Where date night out, it was like nicer to like come home to a clean condo after being out and being like, okay, great, this is where we live, rather than I don't know.
And and probably too if you like live with him, you know, like date night in might not be the same because you're like, all right, well, let's just move off the couch and start our date night in the kitchen, or you know, like that'd be different
for sure.
Look, already bringing the different perspectives right now.
Oh yeah. These hard-hitting topics.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, this one, Ryan Gosling or Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Gosling, 1,000%. I do not like Ryan Reynolds. I do not understand people who like him. He gives me weird, bad vibes. Okay,
I think I actually did know that about you, but I just totally forgot.
Or purposely blocked it from your mind.
I will remember that.
Yeah.
I'm also Ryan Gosling. Like, Ryan Gosling is probably my ideal man. But Ryan Reynolds, I really like Ryan Reynolds. Like, first of all, he's married. I think he's married or he's dating Blake Lively. Yeah. And Blake Lively is like my goals in life. So going back to the Gossip Girl thing, I aspire to be as fabulous as Blake Lively. So I don't know. I'm Ryan Gosling, but I do like Ryan Reynolds too.
I think maybe part of my problem is some of the people in my life who love Ryan Reynolds, I do not like. And so he's guilty by association.
Oh, that's not fair to Ryan Reynolds, but okay. We'll let it go.
That's his life.
That's funny. I think he's like hilarious. I don't know. I could see how it would be like bad vibes to some people, but for me, I just think he's hilarious. I don't know.
Would you rather have a personal maid or a personal chef?
I'm going to go with a personal maid. Like, I enjoy clean spaces and, like, the feeling of knowing I cleaned it and then, like, being able to, like, relax in that space. But I feel like I could live if I had a personal maid. This sounds so, like, stupid, but I enjoy cooking a lot. Like, if I could cook and then someone else could do the dishes, that would be the ideal situation.
I feel like this is an unfair question for me because Tyrell makes like 95% of our meals. So I already have a personal chef.
And that right there is why maybe I should get married one day.
It's like Cardi B said, I don't cook and I don't clean, but I still got that ring. That's me.
Oh my God.
I feel like realistically, if I made more money, I would get a personal maid before I got a personal chef.
Okay.
That's my real life thoughts.
I love how a Cardi B quote like made an appearance in that answer. That was amazing.
Yeah, so early in our podcast to be citing such sources. Yeah.
Yeah, just the way you said it was just like, this is what Cardi B said.
Yeah.
Like, I quote. Okay, this one is interesting. Would you rather work for like a corporate client or freelance?
I would rather work for a corporate client. And I've done both. I've freelanced probably like, I want to say like 2 years if I totaled up all my time doing freelance. In 2020, I freelanced exclusively, although now I work like a normal 9-to-5 job. And I prefer it. Like, I'm the kind of person who I think needs structure. And so freelance is hard just because you set that for yourself. And also I feel like I allow myself to be pushed around also. Where like I will work all hours of the day if that's what they want. And like I get paid for it, but it's different.
Yeah, for sure. And I've also done both. And I feel like we have actually a lot we could talk about with work. So like, that's what you're going to hear. Like, if you continue listening to our podcast, we can definitely talk a lot about this since Teagan and I both have experience, like corporate client side and freelance side and Tegan has like agency experience. So we got you covered, girl.
Yeah.
But I think my answer for this would right now would also be corporate, like client side. That's like primarily I've only done that full time. I've done like side hustle freelancing work the past 2 years now, and I like it. Like I feel like it's still a goal of mine to have my own business, but not having clients. So I don't know how that's going to work, but I just like, I really don't like having clients. Like I like working where we're all like one big team kind of thing. And like as much as like as a freelancer or as an agency, like the client is like, yeah, you're like an extension of our team. Like they're not ever really like the same way as if they were actually employed by the client. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, right now I'm going to say corporate client, but like I said, I do hope to have my own business one day. So
Yeah. All right. Would you rather go to the beach or go to a pool?
I'm going to go beach.
Me too.
Yeah.
I agree.
Cool. Sweet or salty?
I'm
actually not sure what you're going to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I have favorites in each category. And so it just
Ooh,
depends.
okay.
Like I have my favorites and I don't stray from those. But ones, like I love salt and vinegar chips. But then I also like chocolate and I like fuzzy peaches, which are sweet.
Okay. Yeah.
I think
could see
maybe I
that.
would say salty because I feel like I eat chips more. But I feel like chips are a more
Yeah.
normal snack to have. So maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. I'm going to say sweet, but I also enjoy like chips. Like I have chips probably like every weekend, you know? But nothing hits the spot quite like something really sugary and sweet. Like
Yeah.
I love chocolate and like candy. I try not to like eat as much of that. Like you said, like I feel more better sitting down and eating chips than like a bag of fuzzy peaches, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Would you rather have a sing-off with Ariana Grande or a dance-off with Rihanna?
This is probably my favorite question so far. And I don't know. Okay, so I would lose regardless, like no questions asked, but I would have like probably a blast doing both of those things. I'm going to say probably the dance off just because like my vocal range is not that great compared to Ariana Grande of all people. But I love to sing and dance, and like I said, I'm like a huge goofy person, so I'd do both of those things if I could.
I think I'd pick dance. I feel like that
Yeah.
would be easier and less embarrassing for me. Because if you're dancing with
Yeah.
Rihanna, it's just good vibes. Whereas I feel like if you're like, Ariana, you, me, sing off, that's like, whoa. A little weird.
Yeah, and she'd be like, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah.
And just like destroy you and not even like feel bad about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, that was
Oh,
Would You
man.
Rather?
I think that last question was definitely my favorite one. Even though I'm not a huge Ariana Grande like or Rihanna fan, I'd say I am a Rihanna fan. I just haven't listened to her like recently. I don't know.
I saw Rihanna once a long time ago when I was in
Yeah.
high school.
Were you like, girl, one day we're gonna have a dance off. I'm gonna start a podcast and then we're gonna talk about this.
Yeah.
And it just has to happen.
Exactly. This is
We can't let the people
manifesting.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's like kind of a bit about us and like something Tegan and I were saying for like our podcast. Like it's like always fun to like just like chat with your girlfriends and whatnot, but we really want like our podcast to be like things that you can like take away and like think about or like implement into your own lives. So I feel like today, obviously, like we said, we just want you guys to get to know us and head to our Instagram, fill out the Would You Rather for yourself, and we want to get to know you. Like a main part of this episode we wanted to also dive into was all about kind of our personal goals and our goals for the podcast. So it's February 2nd right now, and new month, and my friends, like any of my friends listening to this are like, oh my god, rolling their eyes. They're like, here she goes again, she's gonna say it. Guys, it's time to set our monthly goals. I'm a huge goal setter, so it just felt like kind of like a perfect thing to talk about in our first episode. So Tag, do you want to talk about our personal goals, our podcast goals?
Sure. I think I'll start talking about, I'm not a huge goal setter. I am the type of person who gets a planner every year and I write my goals and then I get overwhelmed with work or whatever and I stop using my planner in like April. Although I did look back on my 2020 planner, which I was like thinking to myself, there's no way I've achieved a single goal because 2020 was a nightmare. And then I looked and I had achieved every single goal I set for myself kind of without realizing.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So my overall theme of 2020 was to kind of make myself a priority, meaning to like not overwork, spend time doing things that I thought were like a waste of time when I did it, but not a waste of time when other people did it, like working out or doing skincare, stuff that I was like, I would do that if I was less busy. But then it's like, well, other people do it. Why don't you just prioritize yourself that way? So that was my goal. And then, of course, with COVID and everything, I was in my house and had a lot more free time. So I achieved all my goals, which was exciting.
Wow.
So
yeah, congratulations. I feel like I need to congratulate you.
I was like, oh, okay. I guess I write new goals now.
Yeah. And I think like, so when I first started setting goals, that's what happened to me, was like I accidentally achieved them like without meaning to. And I didn't even like write it down as like a this is my goal for the year. It was like, this is something I want to do one day. And I think I wrote it like in 2017, and then I sat down at the beginning of 2018 and I looked at that list and I was like, oh my God, you did all of those things. Like, who is this girl? And I was like, imagine if like you were like conscious of the goals you were like chasing kind of thing, like how much more you could achieve if you were like intentionally, I just said that really weirdly, but intentionally like setting the goal and then like intentionally achieving it. Like there would be no stopping you kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so my goal for 2021 is, I wrote, to live my best life, meaning like to, I guess a better way to say that would be to like romanticize my life, because like obviously there's not that much I can do right now besides sit in my house and whatever. And so it's about like staying in the moment and trying to create like those magical moments in like the life I'm living. Like you don't have to be going on a vacation to be like wearing your best outfit and strutting around with confidence, and like, you know, you can just do that in your house. You can do that every single day if that's what you choose to do. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping for 2021. So for February, my goals are to eat out less so that I can cook more. I have 2 cookbooks that I really want to use, and so I'm like trying to romanticize it. So I've got like my apron on and everything, and I play like music and make it like a moment, not just like another part of life, you know?
Yeah, girl, just blast Frank Sinatra. I don't know what it is about cooking with Frank Sinatra in the background, but it makes it so magical and like a movie scene.
Yeah, I was just
like,
gonna say,
I highly recommend that.
Feels like you're in a movie. Yeah, I want to like move my body more. These are all kind of building off goals that I had in January and achieved. So move my body more. I did significantly more exercise in January, but it wasn't like super intense. Like it was like taking walks and doing like gentle yoga and stuff. But even just that felt great. Doing my skincare, because that's something that feels luxurious to me. So it's like, well, then you should just do it nonstop and live your fancy life. Yeah. What about you? What are your goals?
Yeah. Wow. Well, first of all, Tag, I'm just so proud of you for setting goals.
Thanks.
I'm like, your goals are so good. And like, I know you, and I'm already like inspired and like excited to like see you go after these goals. And I feel like if I feel that way, I'm like quite certain our listeners will feel that way.
Oh, great.
So, girl, we are cheering you on.
Thank
and like,
you
you can definitely do this. Love this. Okay, so for me, my goal this year. So yeah, I feel like I'm gonna do kind of what you did and give like a background, I guess. So my whole kind of like goal or like theme for this year, like you said, yours is like romanticizing your life. For me, it's like um my like theme is to level up. And I say that it's very like broad because it kind of like covers a whole bunch of different aspects of my life. Like I do hope to like, like level up in my career a little bit. Like I've been at the same job for almost 2 years now. So like I would love to like work towards a promotion and, like level up that way. But in my personal life too, um, I I don't even know how to like kind of start this, I guess, but I had a whole bunch of like goals I'd set for myself for by the time I was 25. And then just last fall, I turned 25 and I was like, okay, what now? Like some of those goals like I already achieved, like living on my own was one of them. Others, I'm like, this is no longer relevant, or I didn't achieve it, but it was for a good reason that I didn't achieve it. So I was like, okay, what's kind of like next for me? So I'm still like trying to think that through, but I think like actually it was kind of funny. On my birthday, my grandma called me and just like saying happy birthday. But she said to me, she's like, so like, do you feel any different? And I was like, no, not really. And she's like, it's gonna hit you like over the next few weeks or like the next few months. Like it's just gonna hit you. You're gonna be like, I just feel so much more mature. And I was like, I don't know, grandma. Like I already like live on my own. Like I work like a full-time job. Like what more can I do at this point? Like what else can a 25-year-old do in lockdown in Toronto? And she's like, no, like that's what happened to me. Like as soon as I turned 25, like I just felt like totally different. And I was like, okay. And then the past few like months, like ever since she said that, I'm like, she's so right. Like I just feel like this little piece inside of me. So like I'm already extremely independent, but I'm like, how can I level up my independence and be like more mature or like more independent? So this year in general, like leveling that up. So I'm thinking of like finally getting my driver's license and like maybe getting a pet at some point, like those sorts of things. So that's kind of my theme of the year. Sorry guys, I like talk like I said super loud and super fast. But I also talk a lot, especially when I'm like really like passionate about something, so I'm sorry. Going now, I guess, to my February specific goals. So number one, leveling up. So first of all, January I didn't do any leveling up. Like it was very much like setting the stage for like the rest of the year kind of thing. So I was just like, getting things like tied up. Like I stopped freelancing so that I could like free up more time to like do other things in my personal life. So that was big for me. And then now February, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to like get the ball rolling on these other goals I set for myself. So first thing on here is speed dating. And this is something that kind of aligns, like I want to actually make more of an effort to like date this year. It's hard in like lockdown and quarantine and whatever, but I feel like I could be making more of an effort than I already am. Actually, I'm not making any effort right now. But I feel like I could be making an effort despite all of that, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And speed dating, something I've wanted to do forever. It's like February, like month of love or whatever. So I'm like, this just makes sense. That is one of my February goals.
I feel like now is kind of the perfect time to do like actual dating, like not like hookups, because it's like obviously you can't do that, or you can if you're being unsafe. But now is the time to like be talking to people, like say you're on a dating app or whatever. Like the only people who are on there are people that would like actually be wanting to like form a connection, because it's not like you could just be like that weekend's hookup,
Exactly. And that's so true. Like it's like, okay, especially like the first few times you talk to somebody, it's like, let's like do a virtual date or something. And like that's literally all you can do is like talk to each other. Mm-hmm. Like even if you're like, I don't know, it's just interesting, but at the same time, like kind of how you were saying about like work and like freelance and stuff, like you like especially in lockdown, like you feel like you have to work all the time just because it's like there or whatever. Mm-hmm. I feel kind of that feeling with like dating. Like in lockdown is like when people are like texting you and you don't text back right away or vice versa, it's like, well, what else are you doing? Like, why isn't he texting me back? He's not doing anything right now,
Right.
you know? Like, so, and also just like, I don't know, especially last year, like I was already like having so many like mental battles, I guess, where I was like trying to just like figure this out like by myself, like the whole like COVID situation and like my life in quarantine, where when I was like starting to talk to people and stuff, I was like, some people like made it easier, other people just made it harder, you know? Where like this year, I kind of, not saying I have like living in like isolation down by any means, but I'm a little bit more used to it, where I feel I can like actually start like cyber dating again.
Yeah.
While we're in lockdown. So yeah.
Yeah, I see. I feel like also last year it was kind of like always like, well, this is going to end shortly. So life was kind of on hold. Like, it was like, yeah, like you don't have to work on your goals because this is just one weird little period and it'll be over soon. Whereas now that this is like literally how we live our lives, it's like that doesn't mean that you should pause your personal growth. You just have to like evolve your goals basically and go from there.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. That was so good. So
Thanks.
true. So true. Yeah. No. I thought the exact same thing last year when everyone's like, this is just like a write-off. Like, why did I even set goals this year? And I'm like, honestly, looking at my goals, like one of my goals was kind of to travel more and like live in the moment, and traveling was a great way to do that. And obviously traveling was like the first thing that was hit. But at the same time, I didn't just be like, okay, well, there goes that goal. Like, I can't hop on a plane. Yeah. Like, it was very much like, you know, like the whole local adventure and just finding a different meaning to that goal. So
yeah, exactly.
I totally agree with you. Okay. Sorry, guys. 2 more February goals. I'll like quickly talk about these ones. So we already mentioned I'm not on TikTok currently, but I feel like I need to be, and like I'm way behind the times. So actually in just a few days, I'm doing like this TikTok summit thing with work, and then I want to like just like dive right into like creating TikTok content. So follow us on TikTok as well at our golden 20s. We got good stuff coming for you, and that is my February goal. So I'm committed to providing some TikTok content.
I can't wait to follow and like all of your TikToks.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen. And then last February goal, even though I've been talking for like 7 hours, this is only my third and final February goal, is to like move my body more. So similar to you, Tag, like I just need to like do more. January I did like nothing. I was doing a 30-day yoga challenge, but it was like pretty chill. I need to do more like cardio stuff. Like I need to actually leave my house as soon as like January hit and they were like, okay, stay at home order. I was like, okay, that means I can never leave my house except to get groceries. And then it would be like 2 weeks and I was like, okay, I haven't been outside for a while. Like, oh right, I can go for a walk. So I want to like just go out for a walk. I want to do more than just yoga videos, but like doing like the hip hop videos we were doing like when COVID first like happened. Yeah. Like just bring all that kind of fun stuff back. Yeah. So, okay, well, we have one common goal, like the whole moving thing. So we have to hold each other accountable.
Yeah, well, I do hip hop every Thursday, usually.
You're like, girl, you can just jump on my schedule because I'm already doing it.
Thursdays at 5. Drink your wine if you're... I should say, one of my January goals was to not drink. And so far, I've been successful. I'm on day 25, so...
Wow, but that's amazing.
Yeah, it's funny because it seemed like a goal that like didn't even need to be set because I was like, I can just not drink. But now I'm like, I feel it's somewhat challenging to me. Like I am missing it. So I'm like, okay, that's good. I'm like challenging myself after I thought it was like a stupid goal that was easy. It's like, not necessarily.
Yeah, look at you. You're a goal setter and you're also like learning things about yourself. Like I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thanks.
This is great. That's so funny. I honestly, as soon as I say I can't do something, like as soon as somebody tells me I can't do something, but it also works when I tell myself I can't do something, I want to do it so much more. Like I'm that person. So like telling myself I can't drink, like it's like every night I'm like, oh man, I could like really have a glass of wine right now. So I'm like proud of you, like for, like you said, you're getting through this, you know. It's challenging, but it's happening.
Yep, I'm growing as a person.
Yeah, love that for you. That's great.
So do you want to talk about what your goals for the podcast are and kind of why you wanted to do this or why we wanted to do this?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, like things like goal setting and just like how to be the best version of yourself, and like that's something I just talk about with my friends already. Like me and Tegan already talk about this kind of stuff, and like I literally have this conversation with all of my friends, and it's just somehow turned into like part of my identity is like, okay, I want to go for a glass of wine and like life chats with Sadie. I just thought that the podcast, well, first of all, like I was kind of doing an iteration of this on my personal Instagram, and that was fun. And like my friends like liked videos and like would like message me about them and stuff. But like I said, I could talk forever. So I feel like podcasts are just like a friendlier format for this kind of thing. And also like having Tegan join me, like I said, she totally brings like this whole different perspective and like life experience kind of thing. And like, you know, Teg, if you were to do something on your own, like I would contribute that to your like thing too.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's why I wanted to do this. It's just like I get so hyped up having these life chat conversations with my friends where I'm like, if there's a way to put this energy I'm feeling into the world and like for other people to benefit from it, like we got nothing to lose here, you know? So that's kind of, I guess, why I wanted to like start this podcast with you. Like when you mentioned, hey, maybe we should start a podcast, I was like 100% yes. Like I was like, I don't know if you're kidding, but yes.
Yeah. I feel like we kind of had similar like ideas behind it. And I feel like I wasn't necessarily, I felt like I had creative energy that I wasn't outputting anywhere. And I was trying different things, which seems ridiculous because I'm like, my job is kind of being creative all day. But it's like, it's different. I was trying to do something that was kind of on my own. And I was playing with like different things. Like I was playing around with TikTok and like dabbling with YouTube and stuff. But none of it really felt right. Until we started kind of talking about this. And then I was like, I feel like this is what makes the most sense for us.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you. It's like, I've had so many like ideas in my head, but I think doing this together, like we can like hold each other accountable to like actually making something out of it, you know? And also like there's way more purpose. Like it's not just like like you said, like dabbling around and just like playing around with like something. It's like, no, we're doing this and this is like the vision of the podcast, like, you know, like this is what we want. Like it's way more kind of structured, I guess, and like purposeful. So it just feels better, I guess.
For sure.
And I think too, like I said, like I hope people feel like pumped, like as pumped as I get talking about things. Like I hope people feel that way listening. And what like my number one like goal out of this whole thing is to like really build like a community of people. Like you were saying, Teg, like right now it's just like a very isolating time, and like even when we get out of this, like it's just like I feel people are just like craving connection right now. I'm one of those people, and like positivity too, like going on Instagram, scrolling through, seeing all your influencers like doing their skincare routine with like luxury products. Like it's like $120 for like a face cream. You're like, girl, I can't afford that. Like, you know, like it's not inspiring me. It's just kind of making me feel like crap.
Yeah.
It's ironic that I'm saying this as I work in social media. Like I know I'm just like, it's like this is really negative force, but also like this positive force. But I just want it to be like, I'm not feeling a part of like a community on social media, so I wanted to create that community, and like hopefully people can find us and like join our community, you know, like if it's having live chats with us, if it's just like it's like just a positive space, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like we also want to kind of like learn and grow, like not only just like about ourselves and like if we can do this or whatever, but like we've talked about having guests on the podcast and stuff like that can kind of like continue to like say level up who we are, you know. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
And level up
That's
the
so
listeners
good.
too.
Yeah. I think that's actually a big goal. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think you're saying is like having a guest on here. Like,
Yeah.
obviously we don't know everything about everything. We're not even close. So I think that would be cool. Is like having the podcast connect us with people like community and our listeners, but also just like people who are experts at things, like, you know, like getting like somebody who's like an actual life coach and like having them as a guest. Like that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you have like any other podcast goals to like add to that?
No, I don't think so. Like it was kind of what we've been talking about. Like basically my main goal is to have people listen to us who don't know us in real life. Not that I don't appreciate those who listen to us that know us in real life. I just think that would be, it would be nice to know that we can be like a part of other people's lives and maybe be helping people in this tough time.
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like in the podcast space, although it's definitely improved, there's still a lot of room for like female representation. So we should just shove our way in there and represent.
Yeah. Heck yeah. I'm always down for a good challenge. Let's do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. We want to know, do you guys actually know us? Like,
Yeah.
are you like, you know, like, why am I listening and who are these girls? Like, but that's so true. It's like probably the majority of people listening to this already know us in real life.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like the community aspect. Like I want to bring is like, regardless if you know us or not, if you know the other listeners or not, like I want us to all feel like connected somehow, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so one other thing that I think we already kind of mentioned is like we want our podcast to be very like actionable and empower you, yes, but like help you and like making, you know, being your best self, like helping you like navigate through your 20s as we're navigating through our 20s. So, and just navigating through the 2020s, like it's like a lot. So, one thing we thought, you know, we just chatted through our goals and like kind of the process we had on setting our goals. And like Teagan said, she like accidentally achieved her goals, which I think is amazing. But if you're also interested in goal setting, I have like 5 key things that I think you should, like, it's a good starting point, I guess, if you're like, if this is inspiring you, which I hope it is, and like if you are feeling like empowered to set some February goals, but you don't know where to start. Things I like to think about, the first one being like health and wellness. So like Teagan and I said, like Teagan said she wants to cook more at home, not eat out as much. We both said we want to do like regular exercise, like those sorts of things, the skincare routine, like all of that's kind of like health and wellness. And even like the drinking thing, like you said, like not drinking. One that I'm constantly going back to is drinking more water. So, you know, just like think about all there is to health and wellness, I guess, and something you want to work on personally. Another one is like home and social life. So, you know, for me in February, it's going to be like on the dating front, but it could be on like the self-care front, or, you know, I don't know, just like cleaning, like spring's coming up, could be like spring cleaning, something like that. Third kind of idea starter is like your career and education. So, you know, I think that's kind of self-explanatory, but new year, maybe it's like time for a new job, whatever. Just like think this is kind of the bigger bucket, but maybe there's something in there that resonates with you. Last 2, lifestyle. So could be anything like about your routine that you want to change, just like overall lifestyle. And then last one being like wants and to-dos. So just things that you've always wanted to do. Like Teagan said, like it's really not that hard. If you want to do something, just do it. And I find like writing it down as a goal gives you like, I don't know, a reason or like a time frame so you actually do whatever that something is. So I don't know, just some things for you to think about as a listener. Those were like, 5, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 thought starters for your monthly goal setting.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yay.
I feel like maybe this is where we should wrap it up.
Yeah.
Our
I think
first
so.
episode. So thank you so much for listening to our first ever episode. We are going to be dropping one of these every single Tuesday. So make sure you're subscribed to us. We're available on any platform where you can find podcasts. Also be sure to follow us on all social, but we're most active on Instagram.
And TikTok in February. Yeah.
Yep. TikTok eventually.
Yeah.
So it's at our golden 20s. And if there's anything, you want us to talk about, anything really that you want to say, feel free at any time to reach out to us, and we will 1000% try to incorporate it into an episode, or at least talk about it on social. Because like we said, we're trying to create kind of a community where we can all kind of grow together. So if there's something you think that we should be focusing on, we will focus on it.
Yeah.
Great. So thank you everyone for listening. Have a good day, and we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.